Hello, good people. I hope I find you well. My name is Lorthorn, and welcome back to Battle Brothers Legends. We are playing as the Crusader start. I'm hallucinating that time is progressing when it isn't. We're looking for one more orc camp to destroy, and will hopefully take us over into immortality. The battle and the ringing in my ears. The battle and ringing your ears, right? It's like tournament. Well, sorry, so much is going on. Ringing your ears is the government spying on your brain. Sorry, and the tournament is where you fight people. The immortality and the orc. Sorry, I am complete. Okay, so anyways, well, there's orc. Might be a camp nearby. I'm checking out this tournament. We welcome the diversion. Tell me of the Grand Melee. Okay. These are the mandate rules of the Grand Melee. Your company will fight round after round, both humans and beasts of all kind, without combat rules. The prize begins at 10,000. Difficulty prices you keep any loot you find at the battle. The most glorious tournament. I am delighted. Okay. Tell me about the gauntlet. The gauntlet is simple. Fight as many rows as you can. You may fight a mix of human competitors from across land without combat rules. Okay. Perhaps just a show match. Show match is the most basic. Fight as many battles as you can in a row. Each battle, choose what kind of enemy you will fight. The prize rules 100 increases. We might need to leave to think about this. Well, this building is very cool. I want to keep it in mind. Anyways, ringing in government spying ears. I heard a long time ago, it's radio frequencies that you pick up that's entering your ears, or like the high tension frequencies. I think it might just be a misprogramming of your ear not registering sounds right. I don't think it actually has anything to do with technology. I think people had random high-pitched ringing in their ears before any of that sorts of technology was made, you know? That's what I was going at. Alright, hopefully there's orcs in here. Yes. There is orcs in here. My assassin, however, cannot see a single one of them. Okay. Yeah, the ringing ears is not government interference, so it's just random radio waves. However, I don't even believe it's that. That's what I was getting at there. And there was a third point I was going to make, but I have completely lost it at this point. As for Battle Brothers, though, in a few days' time we're getting a new update, which is pretty cool, although I don't think I'll be desperately hopping on and covering it, as I've sort of moved past the need to cover things immediately when they come out, although I know that's what other people hold interesting. I cover things when I get around to covering it, you know? I think that's a better approach for me, so I might get round to it right away, I might not, who knows how I feel about covering it or not. His shield's missing. It broke in one of the last combats we had, didn't it? I didn't replace it. I think I haven't replaced it for like 2 combats since it broke, although it could have broken directly the last one we had. Yep. Sorry, having a late lunch. I'm starving. Haven't been able to eat much in the last few days. I had horrible food poisoning. Details of my life. Very important to me, even if you don't care. And so I thought I'd inform you. It's only fair, really. Alright, you... Oop, hiccups. Yep, that's what I get for eating too fast. Knock him back. There's no adult orcs in this. The only thing that's worrying is the behemoth, but even that's not super concerning anymore. Once we figure out how to deal with them. You just gotta batter them down quickly. If you leave a orc behemoth alone, he's got a big old axe that he can spin on you, he's dangerous, but if we don't let him do that, well, he doesn't do that. And that's actually quite a safe fight to have. Now, you really don't want to give orcs ever the opportunity to use their war charge. That's one of the biggest things about the orcs. Is their war charge is definitely one of their most dangerous features. Now the clubber can't do that, but yeah. You want to look out for that war charge. Are you getting like no attacks? You had 13 there. Huh. 1, 2, 2. Okay, I guess you walked 2. Fair enough. Okay. There we go. And what's really great about orcs is how quickly you can break their morale. They're not solid like undead or brigands. Brigands can actually have like insanely stalwart morale. Okay, big boy moving over there. Without the shield, I'm reluctant to move him at all. Alright. If we could get over here. Just surprise him. Okay, he did get a hit off. That's fine. Repel that one. Make it hard for him doing actions this turn. Okay. Chain's gang swing. Not going to do much to us. Okay, dodge back. Good enough. Finish him off. Yeah, breaking their morale of the big boys too is quite good. Or at least that's what I found. Alright. Arrow there. Finish him off? Nope. Okay. Oh wow, still got the charge off. Even with pierced arm, pierced muscle. Jeez. Crazy skill on that one. Poison. Poison has been a godsend. It's been very useful. Greatly increases damage output. Okay. My lunch might not be agreeing with me. Well, wouldn't that be fun? Oh, I really don't. Hope I don't have to go through the food sickness again. That would be a right bummer. Interesting way of putting it. A right bummer, I say. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh me. And that into your foot. 1 down, 2 down. Light strike. Light strike. Light strike. Stun. Relieved. Oh, so we get like a ton of cleaves in. Actually, area effect kills. Super effective. Okay. Stop the charge. Now we can get in and just bash him as he tries to run. That damages morale. Kill there. Advance to surround. Skip through. Advance attack. Lower chance of rallying. Complete surround. And this is the last orc stronghold we need, and then we can go check out that tournament once we re-equipped his shield. I'm oh so intrigued by it. Hopefully the legendary monsters don't ruin it for us, though. It doesn't like spawn in white wolves. If that happens, oh, that will definitely ruin that really cool feature I didn't know was a thing. But we'll keep it in mind for the future. Of you can just attend one in Battel Brothers, because that sounds amazing. Wonder how many times you can go. Probably only just the once. It's like a one-time deal where you can make a ton of money. And so it could give you a minor boost in mid-game. Probably be a bad idea in early game. Or it could give you an incredibly big boost in late game. That's my thoughts on it. Haven't seen it yet though, so I'll just have to wait and see what the difficulty is and how it decides to scale on you. And, well, yeah. Run them down, as these things are quite worth killing. What injury do you have? Oh, you're just bleeding normally. Okay. Skip. Skip. Hit. Skip. Stab. Skip. Shoot. Skip. Skip. Stab. Slash. There we go. Level up on the assassin. Some gear. And that's 4 out of 4 ambitions completed. Oh yeah. Just you wait. BAM! Stuff of legends! We have become the legendary immortals. So not only did we get the orc trophy and a whole bunch of stuff, there's a little story going. Read this here. Those greenskin things drove us out from our farms outside. Thank you for a stalwart. Yeah, So she's basically giving us apples and saying, with orcs, the big ones are too slow. The young ones are too stupid. Strategy overcomes brutes. Yep, okay. Properly read it. No, let's properly read it. With the bleached out ruins still smoldering in your wake, a group of people come out from their hiding place in nearby copse of trees. Where they had been watching the battle from afar, Old Woman approaches you. The green-skinned fiends drove us from our farms outside El Hadnet. But thanks to your stalwart fellows, we will prosper again. This is for you. She gives you a bag of apples, though it isn't much of a reward. The sentiment will reiterate again and again as word spreads of the orcs' destruction. Siegfried the Crusader barks out a laugh and bites into one of the juicy apples. Oh, nom, 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 with the orcs, nom, nom, nom. No. Siegfried is a stalwart man. With orcs, the big ones are too slow. The young ones are too stupid. Strategy overcomes brute force every time. The great green beasts depend on fear to do their work for them. Stand fast, and they can be beaten like anyone out. The peasants marvel at Siegfried the Crusader's speech and prowess and strength, clapping hands and showering with compliments and patting him on the back. While certainly true words, this is hardly the honest that should be put forward to its uses. You lay a hand on Siegfried on your own shoulder, as if to say, "Hey buddy, take it back a bit. Let's not have these peasants think they can take down some greenskins." The Nevermores have won! Now then, ambition of immortality. Arenas to the south, mercenary band. Goblins, I don't want to do. Crowds chant our name in the arenas, I guess. We'll come back to the immortality eventually. But look at that. We are invincible. We've reached invincibility. That is amazing. More lunch. Both excellent of things. Level ups and shields too. Oh, I miss his green shield. Actually, no, family called it green shields. On tangent. No perks, just stats. Initiative. Wait, does he have muscular? Oh, why do you have musculature? Well, I don't think I've ever seen you miss. So we are going to give you initiative. If we can get it to 100, we can get it to 100, right? So yeah. That's more the thought there. If you can get something to 100, get to 100. More food. Nom 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 nom. Right, orcs. Get away from the tournament. Tell me about the Grand Melee. The Grand Melee is for us. Let's begin at once. Oh, look. It's a crowd of all stripes. Look at these members. Okay, that spectator is terrifying. He's wearing that armor. He should be... Okay, that guy's wearing zombie armor. I guess these are all nobles, though. My goodness, that's quite the helmet. So is that. What is with these guys' outfits? Oh, another guy with demonic armor. Okay, so I get that these peasants mixed into the Grand Melee, but why is there weirdigging serving them? I mean, coming to think this may be a modded thing. Especially that! What is that guy's outfit? I mean, we've got cults over there. Man, look at these noble... I want to get helmets with dragons on it. The 3 green dragons up there. Oh, I love that helmet. That's a great helmet. Okay, anyways, with enough of the crazy armored distractions, let's handle these fellows right proper and wait for them to approach us while we continue to munch on our food. Now, the weird gangers are not going to break. So we're going to approach them. Yes, Dio, we are going to approach you. Or is it Jojo? I can't remember. Inspiration. Yes. Right. Also, where did they get snow? We're like right near the desert. And why are we playing this music? This is so modded. This is not something they would put into the base game. The coding isn't there. Like, look at these tournament stands, actually. Look at these tournament stands. The way they're set up, the arena itself, the music, the coding. Yeah, this is modded. It's really cool modded, but it's modded. All evidence points towards, especially the mix of these things, they're far too thematic in their mixing. They wouldn't have humans and zombies together in their coding, unless that's a really weird glitch. But I highly doubt that. One thing you can be certain of with Battel Brothers is how damn professional the team is. They wouldn't do this like this. Doesn't have enough polished edges. They wouldn't release a product in this state. It's good, but this is a standard of which modders operate at, not the developers of Battel Brothers, because their standards are insanely high. Like, really, 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 really high. It's kind of absurd how well put together the Battel Brothers game is. Especially, like, when Battel Brothers first released, there's barely any bugs. Like, there's a few game-breaking bugs, but those sort of showed up later on, and for the most part, you could play the game. Like, Battel Brothers, actually, indie games in general, they're so much better than AAA. This is a sad state of gaming. I know you've probably heard it many times before, but it is sad. Like, what has become of these spiritual companies? We accept... Oh wow, I'm spewing my food now in my anger. We accept this garbage that they put out. That's not complete. That's not put together. It's like, oh, that's just the way AAA games are. Then a game like Battel Brothers comes out, or another independent game just steps out, and you're like, wow, Elden Ring, such a messy release for the PC. It's terrible. It's still terrible. It could be so much better. But then, I don't know any current indie games I can think of that I'm playing at the moment. But this game is an independent, and it's like, bam, it comes out, it works. Bam, there's a DLC, it comes out, it works. Oh, there's this bug, well, we'll address it and fix it. Okay, yeah, sure, the game starts to break down after you've played for about 300 games, but even then, those breaking downs are easily dealt with and not all that bad. It's just... really disappointing. Here come the zombies, but it was really disappointing. It could be so much better. They could serve properly, and actually they don't. And it's just like, come on, man. Really? Really gotta do it like that. I do tend to go on when I rant about games, but it's because it's more to me. I mean, I make videos about gaming. What do you expect me to rant about? I want higher standards for the whole thing. You know? And it's just such a... It can be so disappointing, the game's standards. Yeah. Actually got the indie game. I'll get into the game I was thinking about. That is a good one. Vampire Survival. Vampire Survival is brilliant. It's well put together. It's quite enjoyable. Yeah. Initial tuners are loud. So Vampire Survival. Very simple, haven't found any bugs in it, but it's high quality, it's well made, it does what it does. Even though it's in early access, it's still so much better, basically, than anything you get in standards. You can just play the game. It doesn't have fatal errors, it doesn't crash, it just works straightforward. I'm playing Elden Ring, it stutters, it has problems. Vampire Survival? Straight ahead. And it's because they set their ambitions and their goal, and they have a time frame, and they can do it right. The amount of time that Elden Ring had in its release, how terrible it was on PC. And while I know it's designed for console and has had no problem with console, which is remarkable, may I add, that has had no problems with the console and it worked for it, still the very concept that they decided to release it on PC, with it having as many problems as it was, is unacceptable. They should have delayed the PC release or the total release in general until it worked on PCs. Now I know there is a standard thought with PCs in releasing games this time and age, whereas console is a far more standardized piece of equipment, so you can test on it much easier, whereas PCs have a large range and variety, and they have different specs. However, in the past, companies released games that worked just fine on numerous PCs, being older of course, and not having as many components, but a game like Baldur's Gate when it first came out, sure it had 3 or 4 fatal bugs, but those bugs came to know about and they could be dealt with by community. But upon release, there's basically nothing, whereas you come across a game like Elden Ring and it keeps stuttering and having various different problems. Old RTS, such as Age of Empires when it came out, that game, you just downloaded it and you had Age of Empires, and it was good, it was fun, it worked. Same goes for other games like Dragon Age Origins. That game was brilliant. It didn't have any problems running. I could just play that game to my contentment. And then you play something like Cyberpunk, and while I was blessed to have a relatively stable experience in Cyberpunk, it still wasn't nearly as much as they promised, which is of course something that everyone knows. But also, when it had bugs and crashes, they were incredibly annoying. It's like, really? You're putting the game in this state? You're actually laying it out? I know there's some other factors to the situation behind the scenes, but even on that note, it's so disappointing. I think we need to change the culture of video games. We can't go, well, we just have to accept this. No, we have to say, we're not accepting this at all. Of course, pre-order culture unfortunately lets us get away with, lets the companies get away with that, and also we're complicit in accepting it's like, oh, well, I pre-ordered and it's bad and nothing I can do is pre-order. So the first step is to get rid of the concept of pre-order, but then others thought, well, they really need the money with the pre-order. You don't pre-order yourself a couch. The couch is completed, you go sit on it, it's like, this is nice, I'm going to buy it. We shouldn't have the concept of this pre-order. Maybe there could be a pre-buy where you go, okay, I get to try this out in a demo, and then the demo, okay, I enjoyed it, I'll buy it. But we should get rid of the concept of pre-order, because pre-order is like the opposite of demoing. It's absurd. I just, the way the video games industry is not up to the standards that Total Biscuit would have wanted. I'm not saying like, oh, all praise Total Biscuit has to be up to standards. No, what I'm saying is he actually had those standards and thoughts set for a reason, which are quite agreeable with. And it's a sorry state to see that we are not up to those standards, because they're good standards. They're really good standards. And it's disappointing not to see things at its top potential, you know? Another round. You want the world to be the best it can be. And when it's not, that is upsetting. And you want games to be as they be. When they don't live to that, it's like, well, what's the point then, eh? What is the bloody point? And then you pre-order games and you buy them stuff. I mean, I'm a culprit of pre-ordering Baldur's Gate 3, but I did that because I knew it under the supposition that I pre-ordered. And by the pre-order, I actually can play the game. I have a demo copy of it. Now, I can't refund it at this point. But I have played the initial release, and I'm doing it because I've, knowing full well, and they told me this, you're buying the experience of seeing the game and its development. If you're looking to play Baldur's Gate, then don't buy this demo early prefab build. But if you want to experience how we build it and change and be a part of that and make the game better, then you can get this beta version. And I was like, okay, I'll get the beta version. I'll beta test. I've reported bugs. I've talked about problems. I've helped the game. I've made it better through my actions. But it's fully my choice to buy an uncompleted game. But then people pre-order games and they get them in uncompleted state, and they may never be complete. Like Cyberpunk, it's slowly getting towards complete form, but so much garbage. And No Man's Sky definitely redeemed itself, but it was so bad to start with. Even then, some of the things that No Man's Sky promised delivered aren't quite there still. I mean, it's very close, and you could argue that everything is actually there now. But really, it's just not everything it should or could be. Okay, back to Battle Brothers. It's been a while since I've done a rant or a talk while doing Battle Brothers. I used to do a lot more of those. Okay. Most of being the government brainwaves make me talk about things. Some CIA agent obsessed with Battle Brothers controls this channel and he just sends brainwaves to me. He's like, well, it looks like old Lorthorn needs to talk about the falling parts of the games industry again so that we can get better games. What the fool doesn't realize, if he brainwaved actual people making the games, more accurately, their shareholders and the people who want them to make the money and the people they're subservient to, then that's actually how you do it. Actually, that's so stupid. It's like, no, we do this for the share or we do this for the stocks. Like, no. Video games is not a business about making money. You can make money while you make video games, but it's not about making money. It's like writing books. You don't go writing a book to make money. I mean, if you do, you can do that, but you're doing it for the wrong reason. It's much like YouTube. People go into YouTube going, I'm going to do YouTube to make money. And I find those channels disgusting, actually. I'm doing this for the money. Now, you can go into YouTube hoping to make money and making a living off it. But if you're going into YouTube to make money, that's a different matter entirely. And it's not saying that all artists should starve. The quality of their work should reflect the performance of their individuality. But what I am getting at here is that the artwork should come before the money. Because I often find when the person starts pursuing the money over the artwork, then they lose themselves along the way. My channel long ago could have become much more focused on just Minecraft, which it has, I will admit, become more focused on than I think I should have on Minecraft. But by all the same token of that, where am I going here? I don't focus on Minecraft, because if I purely did, yes, that's where it is. If I did purely focus my channel on Minecraft and a certain style of videos, I could actually probably be making a lot more money than I do. However, I don't focus on that type of video, because while I enjoy making those videos, I'll make them every now and again. It is not what I want for this channel or the art form I create, and so I'll continue to experiment. I'll continue to do these daily, because growing up, I watched people do these sorts of daily videos and like a release of just gameplay, and I thought that was really cool. I wanted to do that. And while I do like doing more creative projects and more interesting things, I also think there's something really special to just doing these long-term Let's Play series. I think they have their place in the art form that is YouTube, and I don't want to stop doing that. By that note, so anyway, it's just losing art form. So when they, like, Cyberpunk was very much like, oh, we have to push this game out, we have to push this game out. And at that point, Cyberpunk was a company looking to make money. And CD Projekt Red. And it's like, this is a game that you said was going to come out, well, in 2012, and then you finally released it, and then delay after delay after delay. And the whole, like, original thought was like, oh, Cyberpunk, it could be so much, and just the thoughts of it, and what we saw in the ads and everything, it's just like, this game could be so much. And then what was released wasn't anything close to what people wanted or expected or hoped for. But also the thought and sort of knowledge that actually this game could be like that. You can look at Cyberpunk and you can play Cyberpunk and you can actually really see the game it could be. And unfortunately it isn't. And so by that token, it's very much a disappointment, even more so. I'm sure they're slowly starting to make the game closer to what it could have been, but it just still isn't there, you know? Anyway, CIA agent, please get out of my brain. I'm trying to be entertaining and not using this as a soapbox to talk about my own personal beliefs on the video games and what I think should be talked about. Okay. Little shot here. And it's, I just feel so much into the, yeah, this is Battel Brothers I'm playing. I feel like I can just talk about things and sort of just move on and talk about it. Like, so the coming DLC for Battel Brothers I think is very conceptually interesting. It's 2 new stories that are actual campaigns. So they're far more story-driven in many ways. Now, I'm curious if they'll pull off the story-driven. And it's story-driven by there's events and various things that are basically you won't find in a normal mercenary company. It's meant to be a bit of a tale. So it'll still run the course, I believe Battel Brothers says. While you could deviate that from stories and origins, the course that is Battel Brothers is the course that is Battel Brothers. So it will be Battel Brothers. We will recognize it as such. But the idea of adding an actual story, overall narrative, is very intriguing to me. I'm very interested to see how they go about managing this. It's a very intriguing bit of, ooh, this could be quite cool. So we'll have to wait and see on such manners. But also, it's focusing on what? Inquisitor. I think it's like an Inquisitor, sort of dissecty biology guy, and then also a sort of holy warrior. He's not quite the lone wolf knight, not quite the Crusader. I mean, the Crusader is purely from Battel Brothers Legends, and the Crusader is more of a paladin than a Crusader. I mean, it's a mix of a paladin and a Crusader. But I'm very curious to see where these 2 origins will go, and we'll have to wait 3 days from now, have a test to do that day, but then after that test, no doubt I can take a poke and see if I'm interested or not. But that's where this all started from, me saying I don't want to gloss onto games right away, which I don't. Because you just want the channel to flow and go where it goes. You want the story to be, and that very much comes in how I just enjoy doing this sort of thing. And there we have the lovely circulatory story of the symptoms of the hemoglobin. So, with that in mind, how's your day been? The thing that worries me about this tournament is I can probably keep going for quite a while at it. It's going to be pure combat non-stop. Oh my goodness. I feel like they put the undead in here just so the enemy doesn't instantly break. Oh, this is ridiculous. Ow. Doing more damage to my own party than to them. Or they do to me. More accurate to say. Although I was playing a D&D campaign and my bard... So the bard in my party, I play wizard. I do lots of damage. The bard did lots of damage to our cleric. Ooh, the crowd boos when they run away. That's fun. But yeah, it's kind of funny. Friendly fire of a bardic spell, AoE effect. And then our cleric lost half their health. Most amusing. And me, being the wonderful wizard I am, deals all the damage and I am the best party member. The ranger currently gets lots of kills and he has some stupid class from one of the new books. Which, my word, there is power creep happening in D&D. Especially in Tasha's Cauldron or whatever. Like the 2 latest books, actually the 2 latest books of D&D, the Player's Handbooks, those classes have some ridiculous combos and powers. They also add variations, so the rogues have this now new rule called steady aim, which is so good. It gives the rogues another option. So there's this whole thing in D&D, which is called the sneak roll attack. That's what I call it anyways, or the rogues sneaky sneak. Basically, rogues, when they sneak attack, you get advantage from sneak attacking. Okay, cool. Sneak attacking takes action. Alright, that's sucks, but sure, I can't accept that. Well, the sneaking takes a bonus action, actually. More accurate. Or is it action? It's action, yeah, sneaking takes an action. So you're like, okay, takes an action. So, level 1 rogue, I can sneak and I can pop up for my sneak, and I can stab the enemy with my sword, and I get the sneak attack. So I attack with advantage, and rogues are good at sneaking. And then whenever you attack with advantage in D&D, then rogues deal bonus damage. That's the whole idea behind them, if you're unaware of the nuances of D&D. So, it's basically a rogue can get the sneak attack off every 2 turns. But then they hit level 2, I believe. And this allows the rogues to use a bonus action. So have like 9 action points here in relative to Battel Brothers. Imagine if I got an extra 9, basically, bonus actions, but I could only spend them on sneaking and a few other actions. So basically what this allows the rogue to do is they can sneak in a turn, they can attack, and then they can move. And it's like, oh. And then the rogues the next turn can do a sneak, they can then attack, and they can move. And they can do this over and over again. But some DMs like, that's ridiculous. You can't sneak and attack and move, and sneak and attack and move. But conceptually, basically what the rogue is doing is they're rolling behind cover, then popping up, doing an unexpected attack, then they duck back down. It's like, are they coming from the left? Are they coming from the right? I don't know. I can't defend myself. They have advantage against me. That's what's going on. But then he's like, no, this is stupid. You can't just crouch behind someone, stab them, then stand up again and attack them. Although really with stealth attacks and snipers, there's a sniper up on a hill, he shoots someone, like, oh no, there's a sniper. Sniper reloads, shoots someone else, like, where are those shots coming from? The sniper reloads his weapon, shoots again, 3 guys are dead, it's like, there's a sniper, you've locked him down, then you know where he's sneaking from. Then the sniper goes, scuttle, scuttle, scuttle to a new location, and you're like, okay, where is he shooting from now? And then he gets 3 more shots off until you can triangulate his position again. If there's multiple snipers, then you're even more hooped. But in D&D, in most video games, after you're done sneaking and your attack starts reveal, I mean, Skyrim's the exception, and Skyrim does it right. And that man's a floating head. But, conceptually, same with that man. Sneak attacks are done kind of funny. It's to balance them in D&D. However, the sneaky sneak of the rogue is based, so they nerfed it, and then there's a different thing you can do with the sneaky sneak, which is the ranged rogue has slightly more reason, but even and that's why I describe it as a sniper, because that is the melee rogues one consider, but then the sniper archer rogue's like, oh, it's got this thing. It's like, okay. Now, another thing that rogues have is if they stand next to someone, they get their backstab. They don't get advantage, but they do get the backstab damage. Good to know that. Never forget that rule. But also, there's a flanking rule, which gives you advantages if your friends are nearby. And it's like, oh, that's pretty great. Okay, so I can, if I'm a melee rogue, then I don't have to bother with the sneaky sneak thing that the DM talks about, so I can just be the melee rogue. And as long as my buddy's surrounded, I can get the advantages, I can get the backstabs, which Battle Brother does, actually, with the backstabbing trait. And rogues are basically experts at taking advantage of their enemy and getting the edge in combat, right? So, with that in mind, where are these thoughts going? They're going forwards. So with that in mind, rogues are very much a take advantage combat. But then the DM goes, yeah, I don't actually play by the flanking rule, and so as a rogue, you're kind of hooped. If you don't get the sneaky sneak and you don't get the flanking rules, then it's hard to get advantage, and that can affect your backstab ability and your to hit, which is meant to be the rogue's big thing. And so now they add a new rule called steady aim to rogues, which is if a rogue doesn't move at all, which is kind of anathema to the rogue's playstyle of basically they get more moves than everyone else, so they should be constantly moving. But anyways, if a rogue doesn't move at all, and then they attack with steady aim, and that gives them advantage to their attack, And so it's basically, I mean, some people call it power creep and overpowered, but it's basically a new variant rule, which is like, so your DM's a little bitch. Well, you can still use this variant rule if they, for some reason, accept a variant rule over not core game rules. And so you can get away with sneak attacking to the extent of getting all your bonuses. And that was my TED Talk on D&D Rogue Power Creep. But yeah, it's like, oh yeah, there's this insane variant class now for the Rangers. And I'm happy to see that Rangers have a good class now, but it's like, this insanely good cast. And the Sword Song for the Wizards, like, those things be dumb, bro. I don't like the Sword Song. I think they should be their own class. They shouldn't be a variant of a wizard. And just like, oh, this is a psychic version of this class. Oh, this weapon. So, the need for constant pumping out of new class in D&D. I understand how the company makes money. I prefer them pumping out monsters, which they're actually doing once again, because like a while ago they pumped out new monster races, which I actually quite enjoy. New monsters more than new races. That's always cool. I love monster manuals for D&D. Those are like my favorite books. But the books, just the power creep in D&D is definitely a thing happening to classes and like the amount of combos. But even then, I want to talk about this in proper videos as well, and make in the future that no one will probably watch. But whatever, I'll make them anyways. I said I make one video. Is why everyone's wrong about D&D? Like, oh, that's overpowered. Me thinking about, oh, there's power creep in D&D. So you're DM and you're like, I'll go with anything. Then your player's like, I'm going to do this combo. I'm going to do this combo. I'm going to do this combo. And then you could be a DM, it's like, well, nothing I can do. Or you could be a DM, which is like, I'm going to fight back against this sucker. They are going to feel 12 shades this Tuesday. A Tarrasque is always going to fight them. Or you could be the right DM. It's like, okay, this is every strength this class has. But you have no wisdom saving throw. So monsters that affect wisdom are going to become a problem to you. Not everything is a fight in D&D. So sure, you're an invincible demigod of combat. And you will seek out combat everywhere, but not everything's seeking out to fight you. There will be traps. There will be spells of unexpected measure. There will be sneaky enemies. There will be disasters. There's a lot more to an adventure than a simple battle. And you'll find that spread indeed in your party. And then maybe your party is well-rounded enough, and people are going to enjoy themselves, but you can't focus on, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that for D&D. Even the concept is like, oh, this enemy is like this, oh, I better look out. I think everyone, per, not session, but maybe every 3 sessions, should homebrew a monster. And if they're this is very important, actually. This is incredibly important for DMs. And I cannot stress this enough. If you have a wizard in your party, I think this only works with wizards, although the other spellcasting classes actually make this kind of harder to do, but you can still manage it with the other spellcasting classes. No, you can perfectly. So, if you have a wizard, make them fight other wizards. Now, give those wizards spell books. The other wizard they fight, give those wizards spell books. This is very important. And have unique spells in those spell books. So, he has... Oh, this map generation. Good God. Anyways, so this enemy wizard you're fighting has a spell that's very similar to Magic Missile. However, it deals just 2 damage per missile, and it sends out 6 missiles at level 1, and it like scales differently. Just make a variant spell. I mean, you can make them much more creative than that or not. And then your wizard can choose to learn these spells from their spell book. Now, with the patrons, with clerics, you can basically say you find the old text that talks of a ritual of a new spell, and so you can add this if you want by doing a bit of money and doing a few prayers, and then you can have a new cleric spell. Or maybe you find enemy cleric that has a new spell, and for whatever reason your gods chill with you using those kinds of spells. I don't know. For warlocks, you can basically say your sugar daddy has decided to give you a new kind of spell to play with, so you can go ahead and do that. And this is definitely modded. So look at this arena generation here. Look at this generation here. That's so totally modded. But anyways, it's like your sugar daddy decides to give you a new spell. With your dragon ancestry, you can say, when you level up next time, you feel the power of your dragon ancestry, or you feel a surge of wild magic. And this lets you learn a new spell or a new technique. And even on top of that, add them say, okay, so you've chose, like, you don't have, you can do this. You can give them a whole new subclass if you like, as a DM. Now, players can request new subclass and you can build them together. But as a DM, you can basically offer your party member a whole new subclass, or they have their subclass. So your subclass is, let's say, assassin, and then they level their assassin rogue, and they level up, and it's like, okay, so you're leveling up as a rogue, and you're going to get these things. However, I'm going to give you the opportunity to have these things as well. It also depends on your D&D party, like how experienced they are and what they want, you know. But you're basically like, all right, so you're going to level up next time, or you're leveling up this time. But before you go and level up, you can choose this, or you can choose this. And so you can give them subclasses and their subclasses and new things, new ideas, or you can give them a totally new subclass. The choice is really yours on this matter. But why am I fighting a militia captain? Oh well, I guess they all sign up together. But basically, give them those options. I think that's really important for D&D. It's something that's missing, because that's what DMs actually used to do. It talks about that in the current 5th edition. It says, you should maybe do this, like, consider doing this. But it was really, in the 2nd edition and the 1st edition Monster Manual, it's like, these are just guides. These are just a starting ground. This is just where you start from. These are ideas. You can use these. But once you have a good handling of this, spread out and explore these ideas, because they could be so much more. They could really go somewhere, you know? And it's like, whoa, I could actually do something really cool with this. And you can. I think you should. I really think you should. Because D&D can get to be really cool, especially if your DMs are willing to commit that, and your players would be receptive to that. I judged after a certain point that my players in the current campaign, it's a bunch of kids, so that makes it harder, but they're not going to be receptive to this. It'd have to be people I know better personally to do this with, and a few other things. But yeah, realize there's stuff that may experiment with it, but basically give them that option. If it's too much thinking for them, then it's too much thinking for them. And it's always like your DM and the players and such not, and you know, there's many levels to it. And also, in general, if you're playing your DM just something disagree, I was like, recently, mending spell. So I wanted to cast a mending. I wanted a party member to say, yeah, the mending spell could repair this armor. DM's like, no, it's got holes in the armor. You can't mend it. It's like, well, the mending spell says it fixes a hole. If the thing has multiple holes, you fix the hole at a time. And he's like, no, it won't work. So you need to go find an armor to fix this. And you maybe think I'm exaggerating. Okay, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but that's actually very much this guy's personality in some ways. All the same, though, on that. Yeah, if your DM says no and that's that, then okay, no and that's that. Just you got to accept that. Don't push it any further than that. You argue your case about once. And that's actually, like, even during the campaign. Now, with certain DMs, I won't argue it, but this is a guy who needs criticism in his life. He needs a bit of pushback because he doesn't read everything. He doesn't know everything. And frankly, he's an interesting fellow, but just disagree with him. And even if we're playing D&D, I just disagree with him to a certain point and extent and level that I'm not going to just let him so easily dismiss. I mean, if he's like, no, and this is why, okay, fair enough. And I accept it. He's like, no, it's one repair, and so that's how the mending spell works in his world. And that's how it works. I accept at that point, but I want to fully read out the spell and make my own case for it. Because once we have it established once, then the problem's resolved. And once it's resolved, and we don't have to go over it anymore. And that's problem resolved, is you don't cower away from it, you just don't go, I'm not going to talk about it. You resolve the problems. Maybe sometimes it's better to do outside campaign, but we're not going to talk about outside campaign. He's not one of those caring kind DMs like a different DM I had who's like, if you have any concerns, bring them up later. No, he's just going to be, rump, I don't want to talk about this right now. And so you have to get him when he's there. You have to pick your battles appropriately. Simply put. Pick them where you're going to fight them, and the battleground they're going to be on is the ground you have to fight them on. And so with other DMs, such as my brother, if he's DMing, you say afterwards, and even with him, it's sort of my way or the highway, but even afterwards, like, maybe this? But I think with him, my brother, it's always afterwards you question and go, okay. Not during, that is definitely. And then, well, the chickens will hatch. And then another guy is like, okay, I feel uncomfortable with this. And he's like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. And he's very accommodating, very kind, maybe a little too kind. And then with me, it's like, yeah, bring this up right now, and I'll explain to you my reasoning. Because I say, trust me, I know what I'm doing. If you need further explanation, then I'll give it to you. Because I'm always happy to explain. Immunity to stuns. That's a very nice item. Sorry, just saw that. Okay, that's enough for now. Okay, so we can just keep going there and fighting more rounds. I'm actually out of ammo, and my whole party is super stat. That building is broken. Concerned about bribing mercenaries to stop... Huh. Well, I have no idea when I bribed them. Oh, that, yes. I stopped my own mercenaries from fighting each other. Yes, that was the whole thing, wasn't it? Anyways, so leveling up him here. We got Sundering Strike. I don't really care for that for Crusader. Vengeance, after taking a blow the neck. Now, with his defense, or her defense, Vengeance is a very good skill. Yes. So I'm going to drop Vengeance on them, especially with everything they have. Charming. Ew. 10% chance to boost morale. Nice. My gosh, this person is just a tank without combat skill. Yeah. Going to leave it there for a day because I've gone quite enough with these rants. Who expected this to turn into that? So, yeah, I'll catch you all next time on such matters, I guess. Maybe it'll be different. I don't know. Anyways, until then, bye.